What's going on, squad? What's the answer to the thumbnail question? You ready? 20%. That's the answer to this question. But why? It's easy to just give you that answer, but let's break down why 20% seems to be the answer going forward. Okay, what I've noticed with isochain work, especially the pure isochain clients, practitioners, is that 20% seems to be on average the low ball number for how much we increase. We're not talking about any hybrid lifters that throw in calisthenics or weightlifting into the equation. This is just straight up isometrics only. I've noticed through clients that I've trained, and even that 1 month where I did it on my own, that was up almost 20% for me. In fact, if you haven't seen my video on clients in the isochain, I actually have a whole playlist on that. Here's a link right here. Go ahead and check that out. There actually needs to be a lot more test subjects, if you will, on that. I would love to get more isometric only people on isochain, but it is a hard sell, guys. So that's why you don't see too many videos on that playlist. I'd love to have more. So if you are an isochain only practitioner, go ahead and send me your results and if you have any footage. But anyway, we're gonna get back to this. Let's use my most recent increases, which have been the increases from the 11-day stint before I hurt my back using the isochain. Okay, so I was doing pretty much the Bruce Lee program, just with like a couple of different tweaks. Like, for example, obviously not the front squat, it was a sissy squat, and I did the rear shrug instead of the front shrug. So those are pretty much like the main differences in the workout program. But even then, I started to notice, it was only 10-11 days in, that until my back got messed up, the numbers were starting to trend upward. And if you just fill in the blank, then you could tell that it was roughly going to be right around that 20 to 25% increase. When I did this, and I want to put this out there too, when I did the Sweet 16 at the beginning of this channel's life, right, and we had the 65% thing, and then it was like 80-something% if you throw in like the crazy record highs, I was still a hybrid lifter. So I can't say that that was really unusual, because I was still lifting and I was using the gains that I was getting from the isochain to kind of springboard into the dynamic. So the dynamic got strong because of the static, and then the static got strong because of the dynamic. Does that make sense? So I was training type 2A muscle fibers, and so I was getting really freaking powerful. So I was using that same power and I brought it into the weight room, and I was able to produce more power. And then now I have more muscle mass, and I have more muscle mass to put back in the isochain. Now I can produce more power. It just kept on springboarding and springboarding and springboarding and springboarding and springboarding. And I'm like, holy freaking crap, it's getting out of hand. You know, I was able to shoulder shrug about 500 pounds. And here's a link right here. Here's a video right here. And while the reps weren't as clean as possible, what I would like to really point out in this video clip is the fact that it moved at all. I never have been able to do that. In fact, 405 for a sloppy 8 to 10 was pretty much my limit. And I mean, at that point, like, my traps are on fire the next couple days. 500 moved up, and I was just like, no way did I just do that. I remember my girlfriend was coming in to record the footage. I'm like, wow, it really moved, you know. And I was hitting around like 5 something on the isochain, so I didn't think that 5 on like dynamic would go up. So that actually didn't make sense. Remember that the static number was always going to be higher, but the dynamic was pretty freaking close. I'm just like, wow, okay. Let's go now to my app that I use for my clients. It's called the Trainerize app. I recently got a inquiry on that through a comment last week. Here is what my Trainerize percentages look like, and I would like to start with my isochain bicep curl. Now I'm going to split the screen real quick. You're gonna see me looking at the computer, but I'm gonna have the numbers listed from week 1 to week 2, and then today, actually a couple hours ago, was when I did week 3 for my isochain bicep curl. So I'm doing 6x6 format. We're gonna use a couple different exercises too, but if you guys are like me and you're nerdy with the numbers, you just like data and facts, this is interesting. So check this out. All right, so the first day I did this new program that I'm on right now is October 11th, right? 6x6, 152, 145, 138, 128, 122, and 115. Now, mind you, I have not done the isochain bicep curl since before the surgery. So this was back in like May is the last time I did the isochain bicep curl. Because when I started doing isochain work post-op, I didn't even have the bicep curl in my program, the 1x6. So this is literally my first time doing it. All right, so that one, you see how quickly it dipped, and the last one was 116. All right, so check that out. Now we're gonna go to the next one. Now notice the top end is pretty much the same, but now notice the bottom. Okay, 152, 150, 142, 142, 140, and then 145. I put a little bit more in the tank. You know, I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to empty the tank. But my point is this: it wasn't 110 or whatever like it was the first time. Okay, so it went up. My capacity went up. My strength has gone up. Check out today's work was really good. I had a record high of 158. Now this is not my strongest bicep curl. Right around like a couple months into the channel's life, I was hitting like 170 something on bicep curl. In order to really maximize these lifts, you have to contract your core. So I've been working on my core non-stop. So it's kind of in this weird spot where it's fatigued. It's getting very strong right now, but it's like fatigue because of the fact that I'm beating the living crap out of it. So when I contract, I still don't have as much isotension power. If you haven't seen my video on isotension, here's a link right here. Check that out. Now you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? I haven't had that much power to really go into the lift. My record high on the bicep curl was about 185. So I have a couple of YouTube shorts on it. I think I was in like a red Under Armour thing, like last year or whatever. But yeah, that's my record high. So I'm trying to get back to that. You see how quickly it'll go down. Crazy, right? But 158, 155, 152, 144, 142, and 148. What a difference that makes in just 2 weeks. That 6x6 has made quite a difference. Now, is it just the isochain? No, I'm not going to be out here. I've been totally transparent since the channel began. I don't plan on changing that up now. I'm a hybrid lifter. So in addition to the isochain work, I'm also doing bicep curl work. Here's the bicep curl work, by the way. So my only other bicep exercises are the dumbbell hammer curl and the incline dumbbell bicep curl on the bench. I really like those exercises because they are really good at isolating the bicep and allowing for complete muscle failure with very minimal, well, the hammer curl could kind of be cheated a little bit, but very minimal cheat that could be involved in the movement. All right, so I just want to completely fill up that bicep muscle. Working very good so far. What I find very interesting is the fact that I purposely put the bicep, the isochain bicep curl first. That is the second exercise I do. The first thing I do is barbell bench press. I like to do big push, small pull. So it's the first bicep exercise that I do for the session. So my biceps are totally fresh each time. So these are about the rawest that those bicep numbers are going to get. Let's go to the tricep skull crusher, another one of my favorite. I'm just going to use these two because I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time on this video. Okay, so as for right now, I've only done this twice. All right, my back and triceps day is coming around Thursday, so a couple days from now. But we started day one. It was 129, 113, 110, 105, 104, 93, as you can see on the screen. That was the first week. Look what happened the second week, guys. Look at what happened. 150, right? 138, 143, 138, 126. Just so you guys have an idea, right? My other tricep exercise are the bench dip, which I love. I love hitting bench dips because it hits all three of the tricep heads. If there was a way to do dips on isochain, trust me, I would be all about it. There would have been a video on that. Now I can say years ago. And the upright dip. Those are my, outside of this isochain tricep skull crusher, those are the only other two tricep exercises I'm doing right now to develop them. So again, these numbers are about as raw as they're gonna get. I mean, we can argue that I'm getting my triceps in on shoulder day and when I hit up chest, which is the truth, but that's pretty much where that's my raw tricep gains from 1 week that increase is incredible, guys. So if we put the percentages there, already you can kind of see that at the end of this series, it's going to be over 20%. Now, it's not raw isometrics, this is hybrid, but I just wanted to give us an idea of what this looks like. As long as we're putting the pieces of the puzzle together and we're staying consistent and we're constantly pushing ourselves to the limit on each isochain session, expect to see at least 20% gains per month, which is, it goes right into what Paul Wade said in the Isometrics manual, which is in 5 months, you will have doubled your strength. Honestly, with what we've all seen at this point, I would say, yeah, that makes sense pretty much. All right, guys, what are your thoughts? Have your percentage increases been as good as this? Maybe they've been a little low. Maybe it's like 10%. Go ahead and comment down below. Share your experiences with us so that newcomers to the squad realize that it's so much more than just a strength tester. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next video. Peace.